We are Rachel and Joe. We love adventure, exploring, boondocking, wildlife, the outdoors, hiking, birding, traveling, and immersing ourselves in nature. The idea of living in the moment without a care in the world has driven us to make this lifestyle a reality. Our dream is to live without commitments or schedules. We are working hard to be able to live this life full-time in the future, but for now, we are living it every chance we get. Last week, we headed 5 hours southeast to Jewett, Ohio. We stayed in the Harrison State Forest at the Ronsheim Campground, which we called home for the next 7 days. In our first official full episode, we will take you for a walkthrough of our campground, visit a cemetery haunted by the spirit of a 13-year-old girl, showcase some delicious food, introduce Brian, our partially blind and deaf little old man, visit a beautiful local state park, and get a glimpse of the aftermath of Joe's spill off his e-bike. We stayed in site number 1. There are 7 total sites, all being pretty unlevel except for site number 5, which will probably be the most level you will find. This is a very quiet, very peaceful campground. The forest ranger does come through about once a day. He empties the garbages, checks the bathrooms, and just makes sure that everyone is okay. Each site has a paved parking area, a fire pit, picnic table. There's garbages throughout. You see a water pump back there. There's also areas where you can dump your gray water. There is no fee for camping, and you can camp for 14 days in a 30-day period in the Ohio State Forest. Right below the sign is a box where you self-register. The bathrooms are fine for what they are. They're not the best, but they're definitely not the worst I have seen. And now I'm going to turn back around and take you to a trail that leads down to a beautiful lake. We took our dog Brian down to the lake twice, and both times I found a tick on him. I also found a tick on Joe. So that's 3 ticks in 7 days. That's 3 ticks too many for me because I hate ticks. But just be tick aware, and if you bring your pets, make sure they're on preventative. To the right is the trail to the lake. To the left is a horse trail. We did take that way one time and it was pretty strenuous. Lots of incline, not very scenic. I wouldn't do it again. I am going to put a little clip of it later on in the video. It is so pretty here. I would sit at the end there. There's a little stone path that I would sit on. And I was even able to FaceTime my dad from down there. It's a kingfisher. It just flew right there. See it? It's flying over the water. No, it's way over there now.
Is it dead?
It looks dead. I mean, it's not moving.
No, I don't want it. Oh, I want to show you something.
Okay. That's the entrance to the horse trail I was telling you about before. The trail isn't very long, and this is towards the end after all the incline, but this is pretty much what it looked like. This is the infamous haunted Salem Cemetery in Belmont County. It is said that a pack of hellhounds roam the hills at night. There has also been several Bigfoot sightings, and there is the legend of a truck driver who fell asleep while driving, crashed, and severed his arm. His arm has been seen crawling around the cemetery, tapping on the gravestones. And I ran into the caretaker of the cemetery, and he says that these 3 gravestones are those of witches who also haunt the area. And also, if you walk around the cemetery 6 times, you are likely to disappear. The most popular legend is that of 13-year-old Louisa Fox and her 22-year-old fiancé, Thomas Carr. Louisa's parents broke off the engagement because of the age difference and Thomas's history with violence. Her gravestone reads, Louisa Catherine, murdered by Thomas Carr, January 21st, 1869, aged 13 years, 11 months, 13 days. Just a couple of miles away on Starkey Road is the site of Louisa's murder. After the engagement was broken off, Thomas was determined for revenge. On January 21st, 1869, Thomas waited for Louisa behind a fence as she walked home from work. He then brutally murdered her by slitting her throat and stabbing her multiple times before fleeing. The next morning, Thomas tried to kill himself by slashing his own throat and attempting to shoot himself. He failed and was arrested. He then confessed to murdering 13 other people. He was the first person to be legally hanged in Belmont County. The spirit of 13-year-old Louisa Catherine Fox has been seen crying over both her murder site and her gravesite. China King, which is about 10 minutes away in the city of Cadiz, is phenomenal. We ate there 3 times. Filipino style. If you know, you know. And for those of you that use the Merlin app, you know how exciting it is to knock 7 birds off of your life list. That one, that's it? Let me see your hand.
No.